Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.
I want to start first with this.
Now we gotta go to the soup place.
What soup place?
There's a soup stand. Kramer's been going there.
He's always raving. I finally got a chance to go there the other day, and I tell you this, you will be stunned.
Stunned by soup?
You can't eat this soup standing up, your knees buckle. There's only one caveat. The guy who runs the place is a little temperamental, especially about the ordering procedure. He's secretly referred to as the soup Nazi.
What happens if you don't order right?
He yells if you don't get your soup.
What?
Just follow the ordering procedure and you will be fine.
Let's go over that again.
All right. As you walk in the place, move immediately to your right. The main thing is to keep the line moving.
So you hold out your money, speak your soup in a loud, clear voice, step to the left and receive.
Right. It's very important not to embellish on your order. No extraneous comments. No questions. No compliments.
Oh, but I'm really scared.
Please.
No, but the soup now.
Medium turkey chili.
Medium crab bisque.
I didn't get any bread.
Just forget it, let it go.
Excuse me, I think you forgot my bread.
Bread, $2 extra.
$2? Everyone in front of me got free bread.
You want bread?
Yes, please.
$3. Nothing for you.
Good afternoon. One large crab bisque to go. Red.
Beautiful. You're pushing your luck, little man.
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey there. One mulligatawny and, what is that right there? Is that lima bean?
Yes.
Never been a big fan. You know what? Has anyone ever told you look exactly like Al Pacino? You know, Sound of a Woman? Hoo-ah! Hoo-ah!
Very good. Very good. You know something? Nothing for you. Come back. 1 year. Next. Go on. Leave. Get out.
But I didn't do anything!
Next.
Hello?
You think you can get soup? Please, you're wasting everyone's time.
I don't want soup. I can make my own soup. 5 cups chopped porcini mushrooms, half a cup of olive oil, 3 pounds celery.
This is my recipe for wild mushroom.
Yeah, that's right. I got 'em all. Cold cucumber, corn and crab chowder, mulligatawny.
Mulligatawny.
It's blue, Swiss Nazi. No more soup for you.
So we kick our seminar today with no soap for you. So the question, how many of you did see this live on TV one time in their life? You can say YouTube, okay? We are not that old, okay? We are young. What did you learn from this video clip? Related to your business.
If somebody is determined to do business with you, they will do business with you even if it's difficult to do business with you.
Which is very awesome. And the immediate question for you will be, is this the type of business you want to conduct? And when I talk about business, I talk about business, I talk about relationship, I talk about friendship, I talk about mother, father, kids, whatever relationship in your life. When we talk about business, we don't talk about business for making money. We talk about business of knowing people and exchange value with them, okay? So I always like to stay like a few minutes on this particular video and say, okay, so what is the lesson learned from this video? Like this. Anybody can learn one new thing or notice one new thing in this video?
Well, it's not new. How you treat people makes a difference. It either generates business. So yeah, business is founded on relationship.
Okay. What else? Abraham?
If you really upset
Well,
them,
let's just balance this. So let's just get each one say one thing so we can have all of us collaborate. Okay. I'm happy to have a small group so we can. Abraham, what did you?
I was just thinking that Elaine could have a lot of fun bugging you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Shannon, did you have any?
Well, it goes back to what she was saying. So it's relationship. It's being in the service industry that you're supporting and being open to your customers and having that quality relationship.
Okay, that's awesome.
I guess the flip side of it is his brand is very clear. He has good soup and he's gonna like make that line go and you follow the rules or get out. Right? Like it's very obvious, like it's like the word of mouth of what to expect when you go to his shop is very clear.
Okay, that's good.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's his
We fully
brand
understand.
is product
We
level.
fully understand. I believe all of us got your message. Sir?
Well, I agree. It's like there's no shortage of people going there, and they know exactly what they're going to get when they go there.
Yeah.
Fantastic suit with an aggressive attitude from the purveyor of the suit, but that's his shtick. That's what attracts people.
Okay.
Guarantee in his personal life, he's nothing like that. It's like Gordon Ramsay.
Okay.
Right, Gordon Ramsay is a jackass on TV, but I guarantee he's not like that in his family life.
Okay. Yes, sir?
Yeah, it's just amazing how people comply and they're still coming and they line up and they just, do whatever he's asking for, right?
So I'm done with my presentation, guys, because exactly what did you say is what I want you to divorce from your brain. Each one of you is looking for how this model will work, and I bet you many of you are doing it. Did you notice that the lady here at the end, what she has here in her hand is the alternative do-it-yourself solutions. So when you have this kind of attitude, you are pushing a valuable customer to go find alternative. Not only that, they can come do it themselves and they can come challenge you. When they give all these instructions, it means they sell to only educated people. I know Shama was focusing on service industry. This video helped my life, my personal life. When I cannot force people to my rules, I will not be able to do business. So it's amazing each one of you just reflect where they're coming from and what their biased attention is, which is part of my presentation today. So we, in the last few years, we have been understanding the market space. That's about 80% of Canadians are small businesses, and we are 70% or more of Canadian workforce. And over the last 10 years, we generated about 90% of the GDP. Create new jobs, and we create about, I believe, 70% of our GDP in Canada. So the issues we found out is people in small business are huge around us, and not all of them will be able to acquire training or acquire skills, because not everybody, like Shauna, starts their life as salesman or sales representative. Majority of us will be engineers, accountant, whatever it is, and work on this big firm, and suddenly we stand out and we are part of the formation of 98% small businesses. The phenomenon we start to see is everybody's going out of business, and it's not digital transformation, which has a different meaning. It's not because Amazon is selling better. It's because they cannot accommodate the changes in the behavior of the audience. I was at Kodak. I did research with Kodak back in my first PhD work. I was doing video technology for MBA extender, and I sat in Rochester in Kodak headquarters so many times. And by the time I was about to get my PhD in 2000, Kodak came from the largest employer worldwide to nothing, because their engineers did not understand the change from chemical engineering paperwork to digital. And as funny as it sounds, Kodak has one of the very early digital camera patents. But they didn't have, because all of them have the mentality of being what? Chemist, chemical engineering, they do money on papers. So they sell you the negative, and then when you develop it, you do the papers. This is what their business model is. They cannot accommodate it. Unfortunately, one of the stores which is I miss, I never understand what and why I would go to Sears, but when Sears shut down in Canada, I found that there's so many things now we have at home we cannot find locations to replace. Because but I never bought stuff from Sears. I don't like to go to Sears. However, we found out that we used to go to Sears for specifics. Blockbuster is another story you will know, and the Target was the biggest story of our decade right now, because they spent, I believe, close to $3 billion wasted in the Canadian economy, and they shut down within about 18 months. So this is a very interesting model we can talk about in different ways. What this economy is doing to us is the following. We will transform from full-time jobs to what we call them part-time jobs, because we need to recover our dignity and by having different types of jobs, that's right? We have to always be on jobs. And apparently the quality control here said, this is not that hard. You can basically do this all the time. The biggest challenge also we found is our economy have been devalue itself. So that what you used to buy with $1, 1913, you buy this dollar now worth 5 cents. So you need 20 times the value of $1. And the value of the dollar, this is the American dollars, which is right now is stronger. Like 7-10 years ago when I was giving this presentation, this Canadian dollar used to be $1, but now we are like 3 cents of the US dollars. And unfortunately, our economy in Canada is related and rely on our southern neighbor, like it or hate it. And the problem now is you don't have enough money to take care of your loved ones. And if you even have a little bit of money, the money will run away and will dry out very shortly. Do you agree? Do you agree? Who here has money? Nobody has. One, yeah? So for this presentation, I will talk about our target here is to do the following, is to engage our audience, to expand our reach, to increase our sales, maximize our profit, and achieve immediate results. Does everybody around the table have one or more of these goals in his mind? Okay, so anybody doesn't have at least one of these? Okay. So the presentation I will give, it's around the art and science of selling one-to-many, which is what you can do to better engage audience in presentation seminars. It's a foundation of my book, which is called The Genius of Selling from the Stage. These presentations, will talk a little bit about how you can present, how you can sell, but it talks more about engagement. So anybody is doing introductory presentation for their business, they should be able to find some knowledge here. Anybody is doing a briefing or board briefing, they should find very valuable information. Anybody is doing education, they will be able to find some learning here where they can apply this learning to engage people in. Okay? Any questions so far? What made me be able to speak about this is because they give me so many awards for the work I've been doing it since 1992, and I reside on covers of magazines and different places. So I don't want to talk about myself, but this basically, I was top 50, the most innovative company in Calgary by Alberta Venture. I was in the business magazine cover. I was by Alberta Venture, and I was also top 50 of fast-growing companies in Alberta for some time as a CEO. I have a few books. You can find them on my Amazon, and I'll give you a small online tool you can use by the end of this seminar. Today we'll understand the demographic of one-to-many. We will talk about the audience autonomy, and we'll talk about the top challenges for high conversion. And here I define conversion as follows. Will they follow my wishes? Will they follow what I'm telling them by the end of the seminar? Or by the end of my presentation? So one-to-many can work when you stand and you have a lecture presentation. It also works when you do webinar. So if you stand on Zoom or if you stand on Zoom or doing any webinar kind of presentation, this education will be valid. And if you do more than one-on-one selling. Majority of us would like to enroll people. Majority of us will say, you know what? If I will have a chance to sit with them one-on-one in the room, I will be able to sell them my product. How many of you feel like that? Okay? I stand in presentations and I can get up to 114% of the room sign up. People sign up for people who are not in the room. This is not a selling presentation I will do. This is just an education presentation for helping out the community and the ResourceYYC, so you will not be sold anything at the end. And if you are sold, let me know. Sorry?
Except your books.
No, you cannot even access my books. So if you go buy my books, you'll find it's much cheaper for you to come to our seminars because we give our books for free. Yeah. Anyway, so the question is, what is the 5 top challenges for people when they stand in front of many people? And number five challenge is, do you understand your audience? We always have a problem seeing, touching, feeling, smelling our audience, okay? And don't tell me your audience need to have showers before they come, okay? So what kind of audience are in front of you all the time? If you can pick up an example. So, for example, like what kind of audience you usually have?
So I come wearing 2 hats today, but one hat is a nonprofit in the office, mostly moms, so pregnant or the first year moms. So busy, crazy kind of light time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is the other hat?
Right now in helping people actually with this type of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Does anyone share the same audience she has? Okay. Here, I will talk about the audience from different perspective. Here, I will talk about you stand in front of audience, you want to sell service, events, you have your word, you have your marketing material, you have your language, whatever it is. And you try to get your audience to do results and action. That's right?
Yeah.
However, what's happening in the audience is different. What's happening in the audience is the audience have to receive using their selected attention. What does it mean, selected attention?
What's important to them.
Not necessarily what's important to them. I will reframe it and say what they want to focus on. So the very first video I did for exactly the same, because I told you I'm done. Each one of you has selected attention. So I don't want to relay why each one of you answered the same answer he answered or she answered. I can tell you exactly why, but I don't have permission for that. So usually we come to events and we have our own attention. We want to listen and learn what we want to learn before even we are not open to learn new things. So people come for education, but they are programmed what they are educated for. And if you don't, do you believe me? Do you agree on that? Mm-hmm. If you don't agree on that, you can watch this video. Oh, don't tell me, oh my God, there is no video. It's okay. Then, when people receive what they receive, and I do have a video which can describe this, they will perceive what you are giving with their biased interpretation. Oh, you know what? This guy comes to sell us. Oh, you know what? I don't like the way they acted. You know what? The hotel was not comfy. The chairs. Oh, did you see how the water was fancy? Did you see like the water station was far away? So you go to an educational program and you may pay money for it. And all what you try to perceive from there is the environment is not good. How many of you have this interpretation? Did you have this experience before? Then, the biggest challenge now in the social media area is the audience will repeat using an uncontrolled influence. So, in my model, and this, by the way, is the original work have been made by Win Your Brand. This is our own models. People having T models and other models, which will bring to the picture right now and tell you where these behavioral cognitive models exist. The problem right now is people have a repeat using uncontrolled influence. How many of you will spend at least 5 minutes a day on social media on the average? How many posts or article you'll be able to get through in 5 minutes?
Depends how fast you scroll.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say here is your fastest scroll will come from your own self-talk. That's you don't like this, you don't like this, you don't like this, you don't like this. Oh, you know what? You know, Jean always should have her cats over there. You know, Daryl always have his dogs over there. You know, this couple, they always have this baby funny like that. And then you will start to interact with people and then get opinion about that. And then some of us will search any new brand, which is, by the way, brand is a promise.
Sorry?
Brand is defined in our context as a promise.
A promise.
Yes, it's a promise. So I promise people to have unique experience and they are exposed to brand new information they never had in their life, and the information is original. They cannot see this information outside Win Your Brand material. Okay? So we have the influence of the social media make us having the tendency of searching every brand new person or brand or product. That's right. How many of you here will buy a product after they look it up on online platform? At least once. How many of you will go and buy a $500 washer and dryer set? Doesn't exist anyway. And before they do this in this store, they will go in other stores and to compare the pricing. How many of you bought an Insta bot and did like me and went online to figure out what this Insta bot era, because all the Insta bot was one of the top sales for Christmas gifts this year. Do you have anybody has Insta bot? Do you know what this is?
Oh, Instant Pot.
Instant Pot, yeah.
Oh, Instant Pot, yeah.
Do you know what this is?
Yeah, it's a pressure cooker.
Okay. According to my friends in Best Buy, this was the #1 return item as well.
#1 return
Yes. In the appliance categories, okay? Yeah, so we go and be influenced by others and influenced by social media. So any marketing guys who stand here and say, oh, you know what, you just do your LinkedIn and don't worry. This is not the truth. The truth is we use social media. If we hire a new employee, we go out and figure out what they are doing in their past life. On Facebook, on Instagram, whatever it is. People will just put my name on Google. That's it. So we used to position this information early on and say, in 2013, 300 million search on Google was related to employment, and people will have a better quality by 60% if they look up your social media profile. So the message I want you to take away from here is, this can be a make or break for many people. How they present or how they don't present on internet social media. And by the way, we don't do any social media work and we don't do any website development for anybody. So we are independent of any of this development. And then people will retain using their biased memory, will retain an experience about you. All of these stages will happen in the minute people will either hear about you, will attend any of your event, or receive any of your service. How many of you had a service from somebody and say, this was sloppy like this other guy? And the other guy was actually doing painting and this guy was a plumber. They have no relationship. Does this happen to you? We always judge actions for others and judge our own intentions for ourselves. That's right? So this is the cycle which is going inside each body brain. In 2 days, people will reach the retention. So for me, I don't care about any details, I give it to you here. Because I know that in 2 days, you guys will be not thinking about it. Nobody will wake up at night and think about, oh, I attend this lecture on quality decision making, and I want to join the program. Does anybody do this for you? Wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and decide to join your program? No. People need to retain experience. And I will show you how you can flip and do different things to break these cycles, if you agree with me on this cycle. Do you agree?
Yes.
Then, the results will drive feeling and thoughts, and we disagree with the psychologist and behavior analyst who will talk about people only have thoughts or feelings. Because if you have only thoughts, the feelings are component to the thoughts. And I don't buy into the T model, by the way. Then from this feeling and thoughts, we have emotion and behavior. And the difference between emotions and behavior carries your background. So in some cultures, laughing is a function of joy. In other cultures, smiling is a function of joy. Laughing is assault, is a bad behavior, that's right? So people will make decisions based on their emotion and behavior, and this is what will get you results. This is the models, and these cycles will keep iterating back and forth. And what we will do you agree on that? Any questions, any comments? It's an interactive presentation, guys. What do you find?
I'm just thinking about it.
So basically, the minute anybody will walk in here, they have their selected attention to what they want to listen to. The way they sit on the table, the way they interact, it comes from their selected attention. Then they interpret everything happening with their biased interpretation, and they have a perception of what you do. You look nice, you look casual, you look whatever it is, okay? And they can repeat when they were sitting, does this make sense? Does this make sense in their head? Does this make sense? That's why you have to do a few things in your presentations to stop this cycle. Because the problem is when you receive, repeat, retain, and you keep doing it, you can go to a fight. So if I send you a very small email,
You can go to
a fight. I can send you a small email. Oh, why they dump me with these 2 words? You know what? These people are really bad. Then you go to the internet and they fire some other employees before. Oh, yeah, you know what? I don't like them. You go back, read the email again. You know that, and you keep cycling. Your emotion will go high. That's it. If you understand this model, this is half of what's the learning of today. The other half is what to do about it. The other things we always notice is people don't understand, and this is our 10 cycles of interaction with customers or anybody in our relation. People that don't understand the stage of messaging. People want to sell consultancy, and they will come here and say, you know what, I sell a haircut for $20. I sell a haircut for $20. I sell a haircut for $20. People in this stage don't care about your pricing. They care about your value. They care about how you transform their business and their life to the good they like. They are not interested to buy from you. And you can have different models, and if you go to my website, you'll see lots of free videos on these different models and how you can apply them. So always the question will be for me is, where is your website on this line? Is your website here? So if I go through this, you have general, audience, target audience, lead, prospect, client, customers, return customers, which basically upselling, referral customers, and retired customers, which is customer you have no further relationship with them. So the question is, where is my website? Will my website be here or here? Towards the early stage. So when I go to your website, please, I shouldn't see buy now, please. Or get a quote, because we don't know you yet. You may have a different website for people who are prospect, which means they have a dialogue with them. Client means they test your product, or they have some of your values, or some of your free education, or complimentary education, and they are willing to pay you money. This is the people who will need to know about your pricing. Before that, you may kill yourself. So please go. I don't care whose website developer did for you a website, but if your website has buy now on it, it's too early. It's very early. They need to read an article about you, have conversation with you. If you sell information products or if you sell expertise. When I go to Amazon, and I was telling our lovely host early, when I go to Amazon to buy. That's why on Amazon website I have prices and comparisons. And if there is products are sold out and they don't have price, what I will do? I will go to Google to look who else is selling it. That's right. But not all of us are Amazon for our business or our personal relationship. Let me just skip this one. If you go and download our app, which is Win Your Brand app from winyourbrand.my app, you will be able to access all of these resources as well. Okay. Number 4, the challenge is you are not in control. And if I want to talk about you are not in control, it means you don't understand how the audience receives the information from you. The behavioral analyst demonstrates that people will receive the information as follows. People are dominant using brain, heart, guts, and feet. People will need to know the logic of your existence, the logic of your service. People need to feel good about it. And some of us will need to know the details about it. I will not talk about the gut people, the blue guts. Why we cannot talk about guts? Because they will either buy you or reject you. You cannot change their mind. 7% of our population, and God bless you, and I wish all my customers are gut feelings. They decide I'm good, they buy, they don't decide. If everybody is guts, we will not have sales cycle, and we will not have sales training. Because you show up, you do whatever you do, they have a feeling. They either buy or reject. Do you agree? Why is it interesting? I had few of those. I had people come to me and say, oh, I want to join your program and here's a check. I said, who are you? I never heard you before. I never seen you before. No, we know about you from so and so, and they told us we feel it's good to buy your system. If you do work with energy people and this, woo people, many of them will buy this way. They will see me. Like one lady came to me, and I'm right now in a partner with her on this wrestling tournaments we do. And she came to me and she said, I'm psychic, and I seen in my future, you'll be able to help me in this future. And I seen you exactly where the future is. And she signs a contract. And I fall in love. But if you look at it seriously, this is our gut people. The problem we don't understand is, how many of you here is logic oriented? Or how many of you understand themselves as logic oriented? Okay. How many of you is heart oriented or feeling oriented? And how many of you are detailed oriented? Would like to know about details. Each one of us has one of these dominant or perceived dominant and one of these perceived dominance. You cannot be heart and logic. And the problem will happen is if you have somebody in your seminar or your presentation and you have to take a decision from somebody else or they discuss it at home, they'll tell you, you know what, honey, what do you think? I loved it. I felt in love with the presentation. It doesn't make sense to me, the program doesn't work. Or vice versa. Somebody will be in your room and attend your presentation and then go to talk to the other half and say, honey, I think this is a good opportunity for us to join this program. You know what? No, I didn't feel like it. I didn't feel good about it. When people talk about feelings and thoughts, or logic and feelings, these are two parallel conduits. They cannot meet. That's why if people will go and present in front of others your message, most likely nobody will buy from you. Because people here talk about what thoughts about, and here they talk about how they feel about it. How many of you were in a conflict resolution mode with having people in conflict and say, can you tell me what you think about him? She will look to you and say, huh? But if you tell you, what do you feel about him? You're not even to plug her mouse or his mouse. We have the perceived notion that 80% of ladies are feeler first and 80% of men are logic first, and I prove this percentage is not correct. This may be in Calgary, which is oil and gas industry. But outside, I met male-dominant environment, and majority of them are feelers. The message here, away from which sex is which dominant, and we are not saying which one is good or bad here, because none of them is good and none of them is bad. All of them are different conduit. These people having equal, don't judge them. What you need to understand is when you talk about the logic, when you say, I think this is a good opportunity for you guys, the feelers in the room will not connect with you. The feeler don't think. It will take them 10 seconds to kick in their thoughts. And if you stand in front of a thinker or in a board, and majority of the board people will have logic first for a reason, I'll explain it a little bit further down, and you say, I feel this guy is a good offer for you to take it. What's feeling? You need to have 10 seconds for them to kick in their feelings. So majority of us, when we present from here, we talk about our tribe. We talk about, we think, I see. Not everybody sees. People are hearing, and it will come in a minute. Some of us are audible, are not visual. Some of us are digital visuals. They need to see snapshots. So the message I want to let you understand here, to summarize it, is you have decision-dominant dividers, and you must speak to each one of those, because if you don't speak to the right ones, you are not engaging. You will not engage the audience. And what makes people in life live together, that's in a single household, you will have the four. If you deal with founders, real founders, they go with the blue sky. They have no sense to whatever decision it is. And if you don't understand me, if you imagine you have the technology of Facebook back in 2003, will you establish Facebook? No, because nobody will believe in it. It's only gut feelers who will follow their guts. True entrepreneurs, true founders, and I'm one of those, they follow their guts. They don't need advisors. So when you present next time, please consider to speak about how people will feel about your program, not the logic of joining your program, if you are logic dominant. Do you agree?
How do you know? So if you're in a room and...
Tell you know? I'll let you know. Actually, David is a professor at it's in a college here. The last one is, or the third challenge we know for presentation, is we don't understand how to trigger our audience to make an action. Do you know how to trigger your audience to take an action? The action does not need to be selling product or giving you money. The action could be just go download my free book, or join a program, or call me back for a further discussion. The actions here is not necessarily selling product for money. Keep the conversation going, moving them from audience to lead to prospects to clients. That's it. So the third challenge we don't understand is how to trigger our own audience. And we came up with this model, which we call it behavioral emotional engagement triggers. And we produced actually 3 books. 2 of them are talk about the philosophy. The question is, what is of interest, or what type of information my audience would like to understand? So if you ask this question around, you will figure out that people will understand the value of your product, of your service, the impact on relationship, how the system works, when they can achieve results. Do you agree?
Yes.
Is there a 5th one? No. There is no 5th one.
Yes, of course.
There is no, why? Do you know a 5th one?
There's no 5th one.
There is no 5th one. This is the 4 triggers, or the 4 switches. If I give more information for this switch, the switch will turn, and the customer or the prospect or my son or my daughter or my spouse will follow. So, have you seen this before? It's not a desk. is not a bank code, is not a core value index or CVI, is not a gold personality, is none of the things which you can do this without an assessment model. And I will show you in a few minutes how it can be done.
What's the bottom right? Information?
The bottom right, yeah, it's a process information. So process information, majority of us are professional engineers. I have my ring somewhere, okay? And majority of us are project management consultants or project management. All what we will talk about is what? How our solution works. How our solution works. How our solution works. And you don't realize that as CEO, decision-making triggers are value, budget, and with value, credibility will come as a part of it, and time to delivery. A CEO will never be interested in what process you will implement, how it works. And if you have a CEO who has this right, he's the wrong CEO. Full stop. CEOs, simple. First one, oh, by the way, all of us has the 4, by the way. But the 2 main dominant will be what? For a CEO, value or budget and time. The impact on the workflow and the impact of the workplace and workforce comes secondary. Is there anything wrong with that? No, we don't judge it. This job. Now, we are, as engineers, or information or accountant or anybody who had process in their life, went to a supervisory position, they care about what's the process and when the results will happen. That's right? Do you agree? These are the 2 dominant factors or the 2 dominant triggers in the decision. The receptionist and the people who hang around the company and the nurses who have been for 40-year nurse without being looking for promotion whatsoever, they are dominant in relationship. They like the impact on the people, they like the relationship in their body, they like the impact on others, but they don't like urgency. Any questions so far? Does it make sense? Do you agree on that? I don't want to tell you the exercise of going and quoting where you are right now because you can, and I'm not here to say which one is wrong, which one is good. Yes, sir.
So, if you're giving a presentation to a mixed bag, a group, right, you'll have all kinds in there. You might not even have a CEO in there, and probably not in a lot of circumstances. You will have everyone in those groups.
You must balance, to summarize what you said, because you are awesome, you are ahead of me, I love to work for you now. You must balance your delivery to speak about the 4 different triggers. And the way you do that is we have an artificial intelligence software backend where we can get your recorded video, put it through the software, and then the software will tell you what percentage of words will fall into this. You can easily doing it by grabbing any marketing material. And usually they are our hosts, so we don't want to pick on them, but we will in a minute. So they have, they said, ResourceYYC, co-working hub for professionals. So co-working, working, which one of this which word will represent any of this quadrant as working? Working is here. Hub is to connect people. Professional is credibility, that's it. This will not work with somebody need immediate results. So when we have our own training, we will have a box of colors, and few of you attended my workshops, and then what we do is pick up this marketing material, pick up 4 different colors. Usually we have orange, red, blue, green. Underline every single word. And when you read the marketing material or you listen to me, you will understand who will resonate better with my message. And the message here is, majority of us are here. Because I am not aware of any CEO have been fired yet. In oil and gas downturn, majority of us, 80% of us are here. We stand in front of people who have money, and you want to coach individuals who are doing hearing work, and you don't understand that between process and value you have diversion. Before relationship and time, they don't get along. So we speak this language for these people. And say, what? I'm a personal coach, and I cannot get any customers. You know why? Because people who need personal coaching are here. And all what you tell them, not how to be good, not how to be better. If you understand the advertisement market right, for the last 50 years, people will talk here to do what? Weight loss, fashion, high-end vehicles. Why Porsche does not have value after the next within 5 years? Because people who buy Porsche, they go for the credibility and they want to feel good. An economical factor of having a lower cost car is not part of it. When you drive, and by the way, I'm not a fan of European cars, but all the car brands will be the same. You can understand using these triggers why people do what they do. It's simple. It's not DISC. It's not, because, can you tell me what DISC stands for? I cannot remember this, right?
It's dominant influence.
Thank you. You don't remember. Yeah. So the point I want to say is this is easy. So when I come here and walk, I know that these two ladies here are relationship first. You know how did I know that? Because they have water in front of them in recyclable containers. That's it. If I talk to them about how my service will impact them, their tribe, their friends, I will get their attention, and then I can sell them whatever I want to sell. And I'm selling myself and my time, and my engagement with you guys is part of the selling. So there are few characteristics you can basically come and ask a question. What did you do last summer? What did you do last weekend? Oh, it's nice outside. What you will do in the coffee break? If people will talk about credibility, or talk about, oh, I will hang around the office because I want to be with my co-worker, I will go juggle outside, they like to look after themselves. My message here is, if you are here, you don't get along with these guys, stop talking about how your program works, tell them first what value you can bring to the relationship. When they told us stand in their shoes, is not size 10 and size 11. Because I'm size 11, your shoe size 10 does not fit me. No. When they told us stand in the other people's shoes, look at it from their own perception. And based on this perception, you can deliver the amount of information they need to switch their trigger, to have their interest. The reason for you when you stand and you talk and you say this is a boring presentation, because the presentation did not meet your quadrants. Again, I will repeat myself. I am not saying here which one is better, which one is bad. You have the 4 quadrants. They will show up all the time. When people are going through separation and through divorce, before separation, they would like to have the family, and in celebrations, they want to go to the French restaurant here, which is steak is like $150, which you can buy the same steak from a superstore for $5. But it's the credibility of being in the place. After divorce, they want to get quick, get me out of this relation very quick. I don't care about the process, and I want to maximize my revenue. Okay? I'm not telling you, none of you in this business of separation, but this is a good example because at least we have at least once our friends or somebody we know they went through this emotional trigger. So the message here is, if you want to engage your audience, you have to speak the language where your audience will link to it in the subconscious mind. And there are keywords. So if I want to present to you a cost-effective solution, I talk to these people. And because it's lower, if I want to talk to you about efficient is time and process. Effective is cost, time, maybe process. But if I ignore the relationship, and that is very hard for me when I stand with this knowledge in front of a board. Because you have the CEO here, you have the implementer here, and the receptionist here, because you do a total transformation in the company. Which one you will talk first? Because you have to say the 4. The message here is you don't adopt your language. Look at a different language for different interests. Majority of us are engineers. How are we doing it? This is how it works. How it works. I don't care how it works. Tell me what we will do to my business. Oh, you know what? We'll get all the employees and they fill this form. This also how. The difference between us and Desk and all of this kind of interesting personality is we also foresee that the emotional status of the audience will change the priority. So when I will go between negative emotion to positive emotion, and this is the neutral. I classify the neutral is when you sit in front of your TV, waiting for nothing, watching nothing, having the popcorn in your laps, and if you don't eat popcorn, I feel sorry for you because I love popcorn. And just being neutral, okay, for some time, ideal for a couple of hours. What we foresee is the priority of the emotions will change. The triggers will change. So when people are happy, relaxed, they have more time to socialize, maybe. They have interested a little bit, but they are not caring much about when the delivery will happen. However, in another example, when the same individual will be emotionally pressured, they will look at quick solutions, maximize their value for the time right away. So if I get you at the end of my presentation by 6 o'clock at night after 8 hours of interaction, people are here. So if you sell in 3 days workshop, there is a reason to sell at the end. There's specific words people will say at the end to make the deal going forward. When I meet with my prospects or my clients in the morning or in a fresh time, they may be here. When they are pressured because they need to run to another meeting, they are here. So I avoid some meetings in the wrong timing because I know, like, and you had a good example of this, right? In this board meeting. We know that if we go there, these people are caring about the next event. They have nothing to do on this at that time.
I'm going to the next event.
So if you go to winyourbrand/ebook, you will be able to download an email. You will be able to access some of these tools. Let's skip this. The second challenge people have is they need to get their audience to act. And to get your audience to act, usually our audience, I like to call them ignorant. They don't know about our benefit. And the ignorant start with the word I, and I means one in Latin. So our good friend here, when she said, I have 2 hats, is too confusing for me. It's too confusing. Each one of us must be, I'm ignorant to you. Ignorant start with one. You have to be one thing for me. You cannot be 2 hats. It can't. That's why when you said it, I stepped back because I'm disengaged. I want to do this to you once and once forever. So do remember, you have to be only one time for one people. You are now a trainer, you are now a trainer. You are now a mom, you are now a mom. You are now with a woman, you are now with a woman. You are now for full profit marketing, you are full profit marketing. You cannot have 2 things. When you say, I'm a business coach, a consultant, and by the way, I'm looking for a job. Okay? Will I be interested to hire you? Not probably not. I will not hire you. Not probably not. So always remember, ignorant concept of Badawi is start with one. Each one of us need to be one thing and one thing. So if I ask you for one, I ask you for one thing. If I give you an offer, I don't say, here is my program is good, and people will figure out the benefit for themselves. They don't. And when you articulate the benefit, you can see the colors. The benefits has to match the triggers. So win your brand, triple your income in 90 days or less, step-by-step program to expand your audience. This is how we come up with the messaging. So go back to your messaging and pick up 4 different colors or do 4 different shapes and look at the words, and you will understand immediately who are in this category will like it. Majority of us will come and say, yeah, you know what? My wife liked it, it's awesome. You know what? My husband felt awesome about the logo. Dear friends, and if you don't mind me calling friends, your spouse, your friends, your kids, your family are not buying your products. Your prospect is out there speaking with these triggers. So when you practice in front of these people, you practice in front of the wrong audience. I have just to skip these things. The last message I have, which what exactly I did in this presentation, is we usually challenge our clients. We present a hook, we reframe their need, we will do rational drawings of their business, emotional impact, a new way, and our solutions. This is the way we sell in 2012 and further. Not using Sandler methodology, none of this classical stuff. I came here because I'm the expert. When did I tell you my name and who I am? Later on in the presentation. When it becomes rational for you and you are eager, why I can talk about it. When you stand in any networking event and just say, oh, I am blah, 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 okay, I don't care. People come to me and say, what's your name? I say, it's mine. Why do you need to know it? It's mine. If your first question for me is, what is your name? My name is mine. Why do you need to know it? If you come and say, what do you do? How can I help you? Why are you here? I will start to talk. And when we have a good, engaging conversation, oh, can you give me your business card now? Who are you? But people start to say, what's your name? How many of you went to events and they listen to people's name and they don't remember them? All the time. So this is a different model, and for the sake of the time, I will not be able to go closely to it. But I want to share with you this one because this is the very most important part. If you want to get your audience to mindlessly comply to the triggers, you must watch for 7 pillars in anything you do. You must be consistent. This is very important to understand. We advance by extending the number of operations we can perform without thinking about them. So my goal is to get my audience to sign up without thinking about signing. I'm not telling you, oh, go think about my offer and come back. You don't do that. So here is the pillars. The first pillar is consistency, and we understand consistency to be about 88%. If you are consistent, you will be able to attract people 80% more because you are consistent in your look, in your videos, in your website, in your marketing material, the way you talk all the time. That's why we cannot get your marketing people away from your core people. When I invest early on and people come to invest in my companies, they met with everybody in the company and they came and said, you know what, you are not in line on one message. So I used to implement lunch and learn in my company to educate people what they do in their daily life, how we talk about the projects, who are our customers. So when you have to look at consistency, you can, and if you are consistent, you cannot have two. Can you say it loud? If you are consistent, can you have 2 hats and you are consistent? No, you are confusing. Okay. Don't apply any of these. Just consider it for a minute. People will look for reciprocity, and the reciprocity is the item of giving. You give something, you get back. 20% better compliance if you give out few material. And we proven, like with Shamir and the testimonial, which I had to skip for the sake of time, people are, when they start to give more information, they get better engagement. The third one is appreciation. People have to appreciate what you are doing. That's why I asked you for, do you like it? Do you agree on it? And the scarcity is the 7 pillars, which basically people need to understand why is urgent, why is important for them to learn right now.
Sorry.
And social proof is another one, which basically people have to have followers or have to like it in a group or have to accept it. So the agreements, the testimonials is very important for social proof. And this will come to a question is, how many testimonials are in your marketing material? Do you have testimonials on your website? Do you have a number of people like your products? If you don't have it, consider having social proof. So on social proof, Hilton had a sign, more than 2/3 of our customers will recycle their towels. And they found out that 34 of their customers who stayed 5 days or more will use one towel. That's it.
We'll use one what?
One towel. Because they had a sign saying 2/3 of our customer for the saving the energy and the environment, 2/3 of our customer will just recycle their towel. So when they have the studies, all these numbers, it has the studies behind it. The one which is
Sorry, if they had it on if it said 2/3 will use it multiple times, if it had it on there, the people would reuse it.
34% of their customers who stayed 5 nights or more, they used one towel only during the whole stay. Because they read this sign. That's it.
Oh, because of the sign.
Okay?
Not because the sign said.
No, because the sign said 2/3. It has a social proof.
Yeah, got it.
On authority, we found out that 56% better compliance if you go to a physiotherapy and you see the physiotherapy education on it. And the Department of Infectious Disease or Disease Control in the US, one of these departments, said if you write the diet for weight loss on a doctor prescription, 67% better compliance in the first week. So how many of you will stand and say, I am so-and-so who have PhDs, who have engineering, have 25 years of experience in my business? How many of you are bold enough to speak about their own authority? I found people, we are shy. Oh, they will know. How many of you will say, I'm a professional engineer and show the proof? How many of you will say, I have been working in this for 20 years? Many of my customers say, oh, they see the silver hair. It's not about silver hair. It's how you establish your authority for people. And the authority has to come in the middle, not in the very beginning. Because if you come at the very beginning, you'll be bragging about it. Do you agree? So what makes you do what you do? You lay down your authority. But if you come and say, I am so-and-so, and I am so-and-so, and I am so-and-so, now you are in bragging mode. Okay? In terms of commitment, the studies demonstrate that if you are at a doctor appointment and you write down the next appointment, 18% of people will have better show up than if the nurse will write the next appointment for you. So if you want to have a meeting with your customers, a follow-up meeting, ask them to write it down themselves. Because writing it down is a commitment. If you present and you want to get people to commit, you say, will you do it, guys? Will you go and download this? Do you accept it? So commitment are being analyzed in the area of clinics, and in the clinical medical world, we found out 18% better compliance if they write the next appointment. All of these studies are up to the last 3 years, so they are very current. So if you want to blend the models together, you can use service events and words to reflect all of these traits in one presentation. And the way to work is step by step. Look at your presentations. Do you have the 7 pillars of compliance? If you don't have any, okay, why you don't have it? Then, do you use the language which trigger people engagement to listen to you? Then, are you doing it on the logic only, on a heart? So many of us will just have an ugly presentation. These people are not connecting. Many of us will not talk about how the program will work. It's not connecting with these people. Do you want to connect or not? And then the last one is people are visual and audible. So you don't always stand and say, do you see that? Do you see that? Because we are engineers, majority of us are visual. There are people in the room, they will sit and give you their ear. Did you have this before? Like somebody was sitting in front of you and just facing you with their ear, not with their eyes. They don't do an eye contact with you.
And you think they're not listening.
You think they are not listening? Oh, I think it's insulting. Yeah. No. These people, they're audible.
Yeah.
That's why when we have these presentations, we need to speak about every single piece in it, trying to describe it for an audible individual to understand. When we start the presentation, we start slow to get the kinesthetic people in. If we are engineers in the dynamic part, not everybody. So if you talk to the broad community, it's different than talking to engineers. Any questions so far? So this should conclude. So one of the things when we went around, when we teach this material to people, we found that there are 53% to 3 times better increase in engagement, measured by the number of people who will sign up to the next step after their presentation. So this science work. And this is Brian Lee, one of the most known people, and this is what he said about me, that I have a remarkable skills and mastery in both social and conventional media, and brings an encyclopedic knowledge and wisdom of how to leverage them to benefit my clients. And he actually is the one who picked up the title for my book, my coming book, which is Genius of Selling from the Stage. Because he said, after 37 years of experience selling himself, this is the most comprehensive, sophisticated system that every salesman and every individual need to understand to fit inside our society. So what is number one challenge? Basically, number one challenge will be you, because you are the one sitting here and you hope you can do something. So if you don't do anything, you will challenge yourself. So please go back and apply. What we learned about today is selling one-to-many, audience autonomy, top challenges for high conversions. And people come and say, is this courses for us or not? I say yes, every business can maximize their impact. When you can start applying the knowledge we learned today, you can apply it. If you're starting networking right now, you can apply it right away. If you have a coach, it's great. Consider this material, because this material is serious. Not every coach is the same. If you don't have money, you don't need to invest any cost. You have the presentation, I will send it to you, I will give it to the ResourceYYC. Everything is videotaped already, so you will have it. And yep, and that's it. This is a download link, and any questions? Feedback?
Well, thanks for sharing it. You shared quite a bit today.
I'm here for education. I'm not here for selling. If you need me, I'm around. If you have a presentation you want to work on, or you want to have a program you want to launch, I'm more than happy. This is what we do for a living. But I promise to come for educating people, not...
What are the kinds of clients or customers in your...
My customers will have either startup companies, technology, consultants, project management, education, decision making, management consultants, all the way to nurses and holistics, nutritionists, fitness. So, and that's why my card, we will only focus on more relationship people. So this is a card which will link with business people. These cards will go for relationship people. So we do, we have we work with about 87 different disciplines over the last 4 years.
What's your preference? What do you like to work with?
There is no preference. What make it interesting is the process itself. Because everything we have right now is a process. There is, how many homework do you have, Yasser? No. Every time he comes, I say, okay, can we do this? So we go and grab from our library a tool or a workbook or a homework. So he said, like, I'm in a school, I want to stop. So what really made it amazing is when you get people around one table, that the process is relevant and all the difference is the language. But I myself, I'm a professor in electrical computer engineering. I taught in mechanical engineering and I built technology companies, so my background is technical. However, I've been more effective with holistic practitioners as well. So, yes, sir.
I have to go to the meeting.
Any other questions? Thank you for sticking up after the time, and I have my card here. If you need any more information, I'm more than happy to connect with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's really good presentation.
I'll be in touch.
Sure. You have my card.
Yeah, I've got you.
Anything I can do, more than happy.
Yeah, there's a lot. I wanted to talk about values. side of things, because it's not just about money, right?
No, it's about credibility, it's about.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
But it's easier for people to understand money. Like
Thank you so much for everything.
No.
Yeah, I just wanted to maybe get your opinion on how important it is to look into those value statements that the company makes. Right?
We can talk about that.
What they say about themselves, right?
Yeah, it's all about them, not about us.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I wasn't here for the introduction.
It's okay.
Have like a person that wanted to.
It's very funny, very nice.
Yeah, sorry about that. Well, yeah, and I'll send you the email with the next day so we have available. So probably we can make it work for you as well.
Sure.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Who she is, and she does
Very much appreciated. Trying to
that's actually what she's
take away what I can, apply it to.
Yeah, and I will have the video recording of this session as well. It will be sent to you, so.
See, I'm an independent geologist, right? So well site geologist. So I'm constantly approaching potential clients. I'm trying to take away, what I can.
So do you have a presentation for your business? Or presentation on what you do?
You mean like an elevator?
No,
spiel?
no, like presentation. Like do you have like 15, 20 minutes presentation where if somebody comes and say, okay, can you show us your service?
Well, my service is like so many other services.
And this is where it's different.
How do you differentiate?
Your DNA, your look, your height, your weight, your knowledge is not like me.
Right.
So I don't accept somebody will come and say, I am like every other geologist. Because you must have a unique experience in a unique area.
Yeah.
You must have a unique project. You must have a unique fingerprint and DNA. We are different. So what value make you unique for me to sign up for your service, not to anybody else? The problem I see is people come and say, I'm a geologist, I'm a physiotherapist. No, it's not. People need to understand what they can experience when they get to you. And the experience is different. I like to eat sushi. I like to eat, let's call it shawarma. I like to eat steak.
I have specific experience in certain areas.
And you have a specific experience. When I come over, I will experience in our relation. I will respond to you right away. I will be on the top of the project. I will deliver. I will say any problem will happen. I will show you right away. There are so many things will make people interested to buy than your personal technical experience. 10%, 5 to 10% of the deals will make 5 to 10%. People will consider technical experience in a deal. They consider other factors. This is my personal experience.
I certainly recognize your name. Somewhere.
Okay, that's good. I hope it's in a good places.
I can't place it, but I've seen your name.
You have my card. If you have any questions, let me know.
Certainly seen your name. Yeah, it's I've seen it before somewhere. Yeah, no, I appreciated what you know.
Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.